All right, guys, this is Bradster Live after YPL Hub has been blacklisted from all podcasts. We have the long-awaited one-on-one, comparable to Shaq and Kobe sitting down before Kobe tragically died. So, first, before we get into any of the hot topics at hand, I wanted to do a little see how long your YPL memory, see how good it is. So. I'm gonna
Hello,
share my.
I'm Sir Dapskie, by the way.
Everyone knows that.
You're not going to give me a proper introduction? That's kind of rude.
Everyone knows who you are. You, this is your league. You don't need a proper introduction.
You
So,
post the link and they know. All right, what are we doing here?
so right here, I'm gonna spin and test your YPL knowledge. So every team it lands on, you have to name a former user who was that team until you can't.
Oof. Okay.
So you might be able to get 10 in a row. You might be able to get none.
Sure, I got you. That's a good idea. All right.
All right, so we got Steelers first. Bonus points if you can like
Oh,
name the Madden.
um, Steelers, Frozen.
Frozen.
Pretty sure he was the Steelers like last year, the year before. I mean, I have another one if that's not true. Pretty sure it is.
That sounds
Shola was also
accurate.
Shola was also the Steelers.
'em 49ers.
In Rats.
And that's Madden 23,
No, I
21.
think 22.
No, I was on 22.
Then 20, then 21. No,
Okay,
no, 23 when I was the Seahawks.
that's right. All right, Dolphins.
Everyone's favorite Dolphins user and favorite YPL user, Smoke Wagon.
Smoke Wagon, the GOAT.
Boo hoo.
Let's see. Your choice, I'll say the Buccaneers. Name a Bucks user.
Um, Shout out the one of the OG Bucks users. I don't remember exactly what his PSN was, but his it may have been the same. His Discord name was like the Riot with a couple numbers. He made the YPL logo. Shout out him.
Oh, where's he at now?
No idea. He was like a cop in Louisiana or some shit.
Oh,
He was the
Q.
one. He was the one who. He was the one who moved the Buccaneers and became the Houston Oilers, and then Logan
Oh,
took over
okay.
like during the off season that it was like pending.
What was that,
That
Madden 19 or Madden 20?
was Madden 20. Goat.
Okay.
That was the
Uh,
first year you joined, right?
no, I was maybe.
I think it was.
Whenever Miz was the Dolphins, I want to say I joined, or Smoke Wagon was the Dolphins. Oh, that was my first year. All right, let's do a couple
And
more. Um, Washington Redskins. So Commanders, Redskins. I don't know if YPO was made.
Justin, EK's
Justin?
homie, Justin.
Oh, Justin.
Yeah.
What Madden was
They
that?
miss Chase Young for DeAndre Hopkins trade.
Oh,
I
I
think
will
that
do.
was also Madden 20. No, 21, I think. Bradster was the not you, sorry, I'm retarded. Um Rockman was the Cardinals, Lions, EK. EK multiple times, Shala. Have we had another Lions user? We had to have someone last year. Oh, AG won a Super
Oh,
Bowl.
AG
Lions.
was.
Shout out.
That's right. All right, we'll do one last one. See if you are the YPL guru. Atlanta Falcons.
That's easy. Trying to think of there's Who would it be that is not the obvious one? Uh, Dang, that's kind of funny that I can't think of another one. I mean Logan, but I was trying to think
Well,
of better. I was trying to think of a better one, but give Logan his flowers. But best
yeah, I
Falcons
think he
user
won a Super Bowl with them, didn't he?
two,
Two. Damn.
maybe just the one, but he either won two or he. Well, I mean, I can look. He won one, maybe lost one.
Oh,
Uh,
he was definitely in two.
yeah, let's do one more spin while I confirm that.
All right, one more
No,
spin.
no, he won two. Year one and year six, Madden
Oh
22.
wow,
Tennessee
Tennessee
Titans.
Titans.
Shane.
Say, oh, he was.
Shane, big Titans baller.
I think did he? He didn't win a Super Bowl, but I think he made one.
He made it that and lost to Rockman.
That
That's Madden
sounds right.
21. Yeah, year five.
But Zane is finally has a ring at least in one league, so I know he's happy about that.
Yeah, that's dope.
Ending
Funny
his
Rockman actually got a ring. He lost the Super Bowl to Shala and then won that one
yeah, shit. Shane deserved that one, but Rockman, he was good that year. I gotta give credit where credit's due.
for
But
sure. No,
all
looking
right,
at this list, it looks like Mark has to be at least the appearance god. Three this year, none last year. Well, none even the year before, but three, four, five, six, seven, eight, eight appearances. It looks like
yeah. And how many has he
pretty
won?
elite.
Five, four.
One. Well, no, he three and five.
Okay, so he's basically LeBron.
Yeah. Well, he had the Tom Brady drought, Madden 19 to
Yeah,
this year, Madden 25.
yeah. He had made it a couple times, but
He had made it four other times. Pretty
yeah,
crazy.
he was the one who lost to Logan. All right. Um, let me pull up the agenda. All
Pull that
right.
for me.
So this is where we got to start getting into the nitty gritty. If you go to the draft recap, let's pull up this year. Um, Danny Stutzman. This was Jakey's pick. Jakey Ladd, shout out. So if we go to him, he was drafted as an X Factor, and he is still an X Factor. He never lost his dev.
Look at his history.
So X Factor drafted, and he was only dropped to superstar when you have taken X Factors out of the star for almost everyone else.
Yeah, so he's stayed as a superstar. Him, Genty, and Travis Hunter, maybe one other.
But why this guy? This guy does not deserve it compared to some of the other guys.
Yeah, well,
Seems like you were favoritizing Jakey. I mean,
look, you can draw whatever conclusions you will based on that, but
that's just what people are saying,
the
aka me.
the fact of the matter is that the draft was littered beyond belief with depths. There was like 50 like superstar or X factors, like 40 something. I can't remember. I thought I maybe wrote it down somewhere. Maybe it's here in my notes or something, but it was an insane number. So, really, the only fair way to do it was um, we, as a committee, we chose those three guys, I guess, from the first round. And then after that, it was random. and then all the other drafts have never been touched, and there's been no issues with it. So it was it was kind of a fiasco at first, for sure. But
So what, did you not review the draft class or
I mean, I didn't look at the devs like every single dev. Just
no,
like
obviously, but
quarterbacks, I made sure in that first class there was no all the quarterbacks were star or normal. That I
mhm.
confirmed. And then, I edited a bunch of players, but it was, these devs were littered throughout the league. So it was like a lot of players that I didn't even touch had devs. And,
And I can
the
notice the future draft classes were like the starting devs were like not even as close to crazy as the first draft we had.
no, the first draft was maybe
A different guy created it.
I might have a screenshot of it. Let me just give me a minute. Or I might have even taken a note on it. It doesn't look like I have a note on it, but I might have a screenshot of the just like the rookies page from Neon,
Okay.
and it'll show like 5 of 50 or whatever. Wouldn't would that have been? I might have deleted it. It's hard to say. Screenshots of me getting fucking hugged. Um, um,
Because yeah, I
I
see
don't.
like there
I
was
don't
a
think I
X
have it, but
Factor.
I don't think I have it. But it was a lot.
There's like
These.
an X Factor DT taken in the third round, X Factor quarterback. So I see that, but also
Oh, you
seems like
see,
there was some yeah, it seems like there was some like questionable dev downs, like said only Hunter,
like a
Stutzman.
kicker, like a particular kicker.
Well, I
No, this is
mean, some people would say that, but I would say more like Shadur Sanders, um
all quarterbacks
Ab
were star. Like I said,
Abdul Carter,
at the time, Abdul Carter like wasn't as
Jack
Herculean
Sawyer,
as you were seeing. Sawyer was a superstar.
um
That's the other one.
Xavier Watts.
Yeah, I mean, it's just too many. I don't want to give even X Factor. Obviously, in drafts in the past where I had more
Oh yeah,
control over it, we weren't even
you're
giving anyone X Factor. Maybe like 4 or 5 superstars, no
yeah,
quarterbacks.
you're the anti X Factor commish. So I mean I respect that. I've even implemented that in my league unless it's like a like all-star prospect like Andrew Luck out of college or someone of
Yeah, I
that
mean,
caliber.
it's just something that kind of should be earned. People get all caught up in the devs, and I mean, it's important to an extent. Um,
Which I mean, I think that's going to transition us perfectly into our next topic, which is why I think I'm not even going to cry about my team because we all know that sucks. I think this is basically a cycle where due to no dev games, you didn't know owners league. Uh, you should have contacted EA before making the league, but uh, no devs. You're under the philosophy no giving out devs. We have the game of the week system, which flawed in my opinion, but um, there is really no way unless you stat pad to earn devs in YPL. Sure, you can vote on game of the week, but that's what one superstar a season, and everyone gets that. Developing teams don't get a more fair shot at devs like they should. And then free agency, you can save up all the money you want, but which I agree with, you take away old guys' devs. So there's really no way for young teams to develop as many would say they should have.
you could. As far as depth traits go,
Yeah,
you can
yeah, no,
you
I'm
can
not saying
argue for
overall.
sure that offensively, in order to get dev upgrades, you absolutely have to be like putting up some raunchy numbers. That's a fact. At the wide receiver position, at the quarterback position, for sure. Running back, maybe not as much because running is hard and people are
Yeah.
having more success pass heavy offense. But wide receiver and quarterback, it's almost impossible to get a dev up if you don't just like go crazy. Borderline stat pad, fair. That's a fair way to put it. Honestly, defensively, I'd argue it's a little more reasonable.
Yeah, that's a little more random.
Um, Unfortunately, defensively, like as far as like linebackers go, it's almost you can have a there's linebackers all across the league, like 100
Oh
tackles,
yeah.
20 tackles for loss, 5, 6 interceptions. Like those are guys that are a dime a dozen, really. But you're not sure which of those guys will get dev. The lack of dev games is was definitely not ideal.
So for next Madden, are you going to keep it an owners league or switch it to coaches if the same glitch is in play?
If the same glitch is in play, we'd probably just do coaches league. I would test it next year. I mean, we didn't even really know that was a fact until we kind of get to the end of season one, and it's like, okay, no.
No one has a dev game. It's like, what's going on?
At certain points, I even toggled dev games off and on in the setting.
Okay.
Never did, never changed anything. A couple dev games triggered for dudes that have since had to join as coaches. And then I turned it off. I don't think any have triggered since then. So
Okay.
I guess it works,
That they're telling you,
but
we have some schemers.
yeah, no, for sure. But I guess it works from that standpoint. And then unintentionally, they removed dev games from owners leagues. I guess they tied it in with these stupid cutscenes, these coach cutscenes, and somehow it doesn't even trigger in an owners league because you don't have these stupid cutscenes. Just
Yeah,
typical EA nonsense.
of course.
Pathetic, really.
So if dev games are back, is the game of the week system going to remain the same?
Um, yeah, but I might change the prices or something. I like what we got going with the game of the week. Um, my only real drawback, I guess, is that over time, um, a lot of people were kind of sitting on points. I mean, it's not that big a deal because the dev swaps are pretty expensive. I I don't really have a specific problem with it. I guess I feel like it's worked. It's worked the way it was intended to work. It was a counter to not
Hmm.
having dev games. So in that respect, it's worked. And people are following the rules with it. Like no one's really trying to scheme. You know, with the rules that a dev swap, the guy's got to be under contract another year. Blah blah blah. So I mean, honestly, I guess I would say it's worked pretty well. I think. But to your point, you're not creating a competitive advantage. You're in the same boat as everyone picking these games.
Yeah,
So
it's more
it's
luck of the
not
draw.
yeah, and also you're just it's not really performance based. So from that standpoint, it's I guess it's destined to be flawed. Um
Which there have also been controversies from people saying the counting is wrong. How do you plan on
I mean, that's
making sure that is accurate?
the counting is harder than it seems, honestly. When I ran game of the week in or yeah, I guess because I did game of the week tallies in the past, right? Or what did I do tallies for? I guess
Yeah,
it
you
would.
did.
Yeah, I guess it would have been game of the week. And
It was like commish devs or whatever you
yeah,
implemented.
you're going off the reactions, and then you kind of have to, it doesn't curate all the reactions over the court, unless someone smarter than me knows how to do it. I don't know that you can be like, hey, give me, maybe AI could if you gave them access
Yeah.
to your Discord. I don't know. But so there's, you can screw up the count manually. I'm sure I did before. So that part is honestly easier to screw up than you think because you're just looking at the reactions. You're taking a
Yeah, no.
screenshot and then you're maybe doing a handwritten tally,
Yeah,
or you're
that's
doing a tally in your notes app on your phone. Like
yeah. I mean, I don't know if you've looked into it. Neon has their own game of the week system. You just click a button, it registers it.
people's votes.
Yeah, like you
Yeah,
would
I mean,
do like slash game of the week, and then people just click one team or another, and Neon keeps track of it.
what you post the game of the week through the bot
Yeah,
and they just vote in the chat.
yeah. I'll show you. I don't know if you can see my screen still.
I can.
Uh, the Wands League does it. So right here, you'd click Lions or Cardinals, and it keeps track of who votes for what.
Hmm. That's pretty cool. I mean, we can do that at some point. I mean, either next year or if I want to implement it, maybe for the next season. That takes the human element out of it. I got no
Yeah.
problem.
So I know a couple people were questioning Shala's counting,
I mean, if he messed up on the counting, it was an. I'm pretty confident it was an honest mistake. He's not fudging the count against anybody. A lot of these dudes have been sitting on these points. I mean, if you're at 15 points, you're trying to say, oh, he missed one.
18,
I mean, you're going back 2 seasons, like
17.
17 points.
Yeah, we got a 17 and 18.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna be like, oh, I'm missing a point, come on. But no, I mean, just like I said, that's just the human element that is not going to be perfect, is what I would chalk that up to. Shaw is on the up and up. Shaw is a soldier, dude.
Debatable. Very debatable there.
He has his moments. We all have our
Um,
moments.
I mean, speaking of his moments, the Madden 24 Bowl that no one counts of mine. Granted, you guys count Caden's
I don't
Super
count
Bowl
Kane
win. It's in the YPL Wall of Honor,
just
which
because I copied and pasted it from Mark, and I didn't have the heart to cut him out of it, and I haven't to this point. I just haven't given it too much more thought. But
shout out for Caden to coming back,
yeah,
unretiring today.
shout out Caden. He's a chill dude. No,
But
I didn't have the heart to cut him out of the record books. That'd be, in the middle of the night. It'd be kind of rude.
wait,
Although I've thought about it, obviously.
but speaking of Shala's antics and my bull, I have heard reports him and his opponent schemed not to play because they didn't want to give me a bowl win.
I mean, because they didn't want to give you a chance at a bowl win. I could believe that. It was the league was really, dead. Uh, so I don't necessarily refute that. But down, what was that last Madden? The year
That was,
before?
yeah. Yeah,
Last
when
Madden?
Steady and Towels went at it for 2 years back to back.
Well, download Madden 24 and fucking play it out.
Well,
You
Shala
want
would want to.
you want your recognition? Play that shit out. Let's go.
He wouldn't give me a chance because
I'll
he
commentate.
knows, oh, that would be fire, but he'd have to beat Kyle.
I'll put up a cash prize. You
Right.
you
I,
you set it up, and I'll pull out the stops for it. That would be kind of fun, honestly.
I've offered a cash prize for stuff, but no one wants $200 for free.
Well, this is different, but if you want to etch your name in the record books and give Shala did he not play Kyle?
He
He
did
should.
not.
I mean, Kyle might even play that game. I don't know. Or you get someone to play you in that Super Bowl on that Madden with those teams. I think could be a fun little YPL event.
I think that old Seahawks guy said he was interested.
Who's the old Seahawks guy?
Like Spartan King or whatever,
Interested in what?
in playing me in that Super Bowl.
In Madden 24?
Yeah.
Oh, you're being facetious because he's not very good. No, we're not going to do that.
So now that we know Shala was scared to let me get into the record books, tarnishing his legacy, Kyle, he might get a pass on that. He's still considered a duck, but Kyle's in my good graces for the most part when he's not complaining. Um, which
Totally.
brings us to the loss of many core users of YPL. What's been going on with that? We just lost Braxy, a YPL legend. Mark,
Some
he's been
people,
gone for
some
a
people
while.
just, some people just aren't built for the long haul. I mean, I get it. It's Madden. It's a very frustrating game. It's an imperfect game, and you know, most of these people that come in and out of the league are like legit gamers. Like they play a lot of different games.
Yeah,
A lot of dudes playing on console, playing computer games. So like, there's just a lot of better options than Madden out there. Point blank. There's just better games to play. So I understand from that standpoint, people leaving the league and leaving Madden in general. Um, but it is disappointing, obviously, when you lose guys that are, quote unquote core members, OGs, whatever you want to call them, because it's just you have these illusions, I suppose, these dreams of uh, a utopic Madden fucking league, right? You got all 32 users and you go 7 seasons with the same 32 users. You have to see it happen. You have to see it happen. So from that standpoint, definitely disappointing. Mark went out on a high note, so give him credit.
some will say
I
he
don't.
was scared of
Does the
Terrible Kyle's
Seahawks not
rejoining,
have the Seahawks as an entity have one win in almost 2 full seasons since his retirement, and it was a force win.
well, that's
So that's
tragic.
unfortunate. But no, losing these guys sucks. I mean, Re Jit, um, he's gets stubborn at times on this scheduling stuff, and
I've
you
seen it
know,
firsthand, but
it's you know, it's hard to argue with people sometimes when you're just not seeing eye to eye. So, um, I think he probably could tell that I was heading towards a fair sim territory there. So I
mhm.
think he was, mentally prepared to be out of Madden. So or out of YPL at least. I don't know what he's doing on Madden, but no, it's a shame. I like Jet. He's a chill gamer dude, and like
Yeah,
we play
Braxy's
other games together. Like we've been
yeah, he's a
playing
YPL
FIFA.
guy,
Yeah, we've been playing FIFA. So like there's no beef there. Just um, I don't know. I'll say from my standpoint, sometimes he's been difficult on the scheduling front.
which I mean, you're pretty strict about force or fair simming. Like someone basically have to die for you to get a force win out.
Well, it just depends. They didn't. The scheduling deadline is the fucking essentially the end all be all as far as You want a forced win, you're active before the scheduling deadline, you're consistent about trying to set a real time, and that's how you secure a forced win. They didn't I left the channel up for 24 hours after their, their dust up. Um so anybody could have read it in that time. It was up for 72 hours. They basically agreed to a window, which windows are not good. They agreed to a window, and then I basically came into the chat, the day of that window saying, "Hey, are y'all playing at 7?" And they're like, "Yeah." And then, Jawsy's going to be late. He tells him he's going to be late. Then, he's only 30 minutes late. I mean, if you're if you're sitting around ready to game and shit, like, you're just it's a commitment to the league, really, just to fucking play your games. If you're sitting around gaming and playing fucking Xbox, PlayStation, you got a game to play, and your opponent is like being forthright about running late and trying to get the game in. You just need to play the game. Refusing to play the game is not going to get you a forced win. That's all there is to it. If they had set a legitimate time, hey,
Mm-hmm.
we're playing at 7 o'clock. I can't play at 7:10. It's got to be 7 o'clock. Like, I'm on a time crunch. I'm sorry to be annoying, but I have to play. We start at 7 o'clock. I can't start at 7:01, and people will fucking make that work, or else they're
So you're
taking the forced loss at that point.
so you're saying if he stuck to the window but said if we aren't started by this time, he would have got it, or just
I mean,
because it was a window.
Jawsy hit him up like 5 minutes before 7 o'clock. It was like, "Hey, my girl left her keys or whatever. Like, I'm running a little late." 30 minutes later, "Hey, you ready to play?" And then he's like, "Oh, I went to go get food." And then Jawsy's like, "Well, I got this fantasy baseball draft, but I'll play during the draft, like, because I was late. Just let me know." And then he's like, "Oh, I'll play you after the draft. When's the draft going to be done?" So then, it's a fantasy draft. Like, you don't know exactly when it's going to be done. So he said, "Oh, maybe 10:30 or 9:30, 10." And then, Jit doesn't say anything the entirety of the draft. When Jawsy finally hits him up, he's like, "Nah, I don't want to play."
Which I mean,
That's
I think
basically like
if someone misses a
at
time,
every
I think
turn.
they
I
should be
feel like at
given.
every turn Jit made the wrong move. It's impossible to tell him that. He's
No,
going to
I
say,
mean,
"Oh, we had a time and he missed the time." But no, you didn't really have a time.
yeah, he's
And
stubborn, but I mean, they had a window. I would argue that for Jit. They had a window, and he was there for that whole window. It seemed
who was there for that whole window?
Braxy was.
I mean, so was Jawsy, though.
I thought said he was going to be a little late.
He did say he was going to be late, but
So it seemed like it was like 30 minutes outside that window, which I think if someone's dicking around, only lets me
no,
know
the
5 minutes
window
before.
was before 8. That was all that they agreed to, was before 8. They didn't even specify. Technically, he would have needed to start at 7 because the fantasy
7.
baseball draft was at 8, but they didn't
Okay.
communicate that. They just said before 8, and that was, Saturday night. Sunday morning, I came in the chat. And I'm like, "Hey, are y'all playing at 7?" Because I knew the draft was at 8.
Yeah,
So
you
it
gave
ended
him an
up being
extra day.
7:30 by the time he could play, but he was willing to start the Madden game and, draft on his phone between, Madden sequences. And Jit left to go get food, and then um, said, "Let's do it after the draft." And then after the draft, didn't want to play.
Yeah, so unfortunate
That's
Braxy
what happened.
lost.
That's what happens when you don't set a fucking time. That's what the scheduling deadline is all about, dude.
Yeah, I mean you gave every couple games an extra day. Probably
I did
ideally.
it for that because that was a big playoff implication game. Then you
Yeah.
because well, Miz and Terry um, played at like 11 o'clock, and
Uh
I passed out. So I woke up in the morning um, and was like, well, I'll see if they're going to play tonight because realistically, how many games would have gotten in during the day yesterday?
probably maybe one.
One or two games. So like if we waited until 8 p.m., it's really not a big deal. Plus
Yeah.
Marcus, that Bucks dude wanted to play, and then we had a new 49ers coming in. So there was an opportunity to get like three user games played in that extra time period. Um, I mean, typically we just roll right along. But I fell asleep waiting on draws, Miz and Terry. So homie's gonna be like, you know, oh, y'all talking about me in the podcast, but like, I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about
No,
just
Braxy's a good guy.
just talking about scheduling all I can do as the arbiter, the guy making the decisions. All I can do is go off the scheduling process. A couple game weeks ago, um, Marcus and someone, Falcons, Munch and someone, I fair simmed them because the deadline was midnight or 11 o'clock, and neither of them said anything in the chat until Marcus said something at like 2 in the morning. So
Uh
it was over 24 hours. At that point, you both miss the scheduling deadline. If the game doesn't get played, it's a fair sim. That's that's how it goes.
yeah,
If you both miss the scheduling deadline, the game doesn't get played, it's a fair sim. So I don't know. It can be annoying at times because I'm trying to be, you
you're trying
know,
to keep the league moving, but
impartial. I'm trying to be impartial when I make these force win decisions, and most of the time I'm just going off the channel, and
yeah, I would say your ratio is probably 80% fair sim, 20% force win.
if
Like,
if there's like if it's up to interpretation,
yeah,
probably
yeah.
yeah. I mean, there's some
Like,
times
there's
where
some where just people don't respond. It's like, well, that's obvious.
yeah, but like if people are, it seems to be more of a common trend lately. People just like being stubborn as far as
Like,
like
let's see.
meeting in the middle. Like you're not going to win me over that way. There's a part of this like that sometimes if you want to play the game, then you might have to like
You got to put
you
in
know
some effort.
move your schedule around, so to speak, a little bit, like work around what you got going on. Like there's times, where you give someone a window, like I might come home to play a game and then fucking leave again if that's like what it takes. It's an important
Oh,
game to
yeah,
me.
for sure.
Um,
But which is
so
where I think people being late to deadlines is like, well, I kind of made this time to play here, and you're saying you're going to be 30 to 45 minutes late.
yeah, but that's the aforementioned scenario is not one of
Yeah.
those.
No,
But
I
if
wasn't
you're
referencing the Braxton
yeah,
situation.
if you're communicative about it, like, hey, you know, um, I got, I can play at 8. The guy said he wants to play at 8. Be like, hey, I can play at 8, but like, if we're not on time, like the latest I can go is 8:30 or 8:20. Like, if people did more of that, and granted, it's a small, most of the time it's a small number of games that like don't get played,
Oh yeah,
or
a lot of them.
that become contentious or whatever. But people just need to send an extra message or two, like, you know,
Yeah, people.
sometimes people be like, "Oh, you're being annoying" or whatever. Or like you're dealing with someone like the Bills who's just like who's like silly. But
Yeah,
send a couple extra messages and like make sure you're communicating properly. I don't know. I
yeah.
never have any issue playing my games. I missed one game in this league this year, and it was against Frozen, and he couldn't
Oh
even.
wow, yeah,
He couldn't remember. He couldn't even. I said, "Look, my plane is delayed or whatever, so I'm not really going to be back until like
yeah.
advanced time. Um, the force win is yours if you want it." And he never responded. Fuck him,
Like,
dude.
come on,
I'm
yeah.
taking the fair sim.
Which I mean, sad, sad to see Shane recently. Seems like he's been missing a couple games.
Yeah, I think he's. I messaged him.
He
I'm.
seems burnt out with work and.
I think he's just. Well, he's locked into the show now. I think it's more than
Oh,
anything.
is that it?
Yeah, I'm sure he was on. The early release was like a whole week, and then the full game came out today. So he's probably just playing the show.
Yeah,
But
I
I
wouldn't be.
messaged him. We'll see what he says.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked to see him go, which would be
It's a
another big
shame.
loss.
He's got a contending squad. This could have
Yeah,
been here.
same with the Cowboys. Seems like he's been a little lax recently, or MIA totally.
He's been a little lax, but he's been playing his games. I think he gave like a fair sim to a guy who was like had a busy schedule, but he's been playing his
Okay,
games. He's been uh
he's a
he's been a
solid
great
user.
addition.
He
TJ's
has.
TJ's homie has held it down the whole year.
Yeah, so
And
all these
he drafts, like he's
he does.
making
He's on the
trades,
drafts,
like he's active.
and then all these core guys who are leaving, when they come back, are they going to get first dibs on a team, or are new guys who ride out to the end going to get first dibs?
I mean, it'll be barring anything really changing, it'll be the same kind of system. But you know, request a couple teams, and I'll see where I can put people. But no, guys, if we have to refill the league next cycle with guys who were here and are not here anymore, they're going to be down the pecking order for sure.
Because
The
yeah,
team.
like seems like we got a couple new guys who hopefully are here for the long haul.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of these like new guys seem pretty chilled. Like the Bucks and the Seahawks guy. That
Yeah,
seems
Seahawks,
really
Texans
good.
guys pretty solid.
Texans guy is good. I've watched him play a few games. So yeah, no, if those guys, play it out and are here, chilling in the chat and ready to go in September, they'll have a better team, one of their top team selections, for sure.
Which brings me to one of the last points I have is I didn't really get into it because I've been busy most of the day, but there's a rumor that my guys are blacklisted from the league. Is there any truth to this? An unnamed Giants user brought this up.
I saw that. There's no truth to that. I mean, I don't blame him for relaying what he thinks is a thing or whatever, but
I mean, one of the highest competitive users seem to have gotten let go very early,
yeah, but we talked about this.
which I mean,
I kicked I
devastating blow.
I kicked Tommy out, and he was all whatever about it, and then I said, "Hey, I probably jumped the gun on that. Do you want to come back?" It was no time had passed. The team was still there, everything, and he said no. So
Like he
it is
felt
what it is.
disrespected. I mean,
That's fine. That's the I guess that's the risk you run when you're a commissioner running a league. Uh, Sometimes you rub people the wrong way. So
which what teams are open right now,
I don't think
if
anyone's
any,
open at the
or
moment. I guess
will be
Cardinals could
open?
be.
Cardinals could
But
be.
no, there's no blacklist. Shoot, I even went through recently, and everyone that I had like blocked from the server or something, except for Earn to Burn. Everyone except for Earn to Burn. I
Even the league
un
favorite Dogman, is he invited back?
I mean, I'm not necessarily inviting anyone back, but
Oh,
I
you unbanned
unbanned
them.
everyone except for Earn to Burn.
So will
Um,
so
no,
will open invites be a
I've
thing?
no, I like controlling the invites because I don't want just like anybody just to be able to send an invite out there with a million. I can always I can delete invites, but like I like it better when I have control over the invites. But that doesn't mean anybody can't ask me for an invite. I've given plenty of invites out.
Which
And
this new
you've brought people from your league that have worked or haven't worked, but
this
there's
49ers guys from my
it's not
league.
my call that you haven't brought Quet or whoever. Some of those
It,
guys have been here before and didn't work out too.
yeah, but I don't know who brought this guy in. He's from my league. It might have been you,
Which
the
one?
49ers guy.
The Latino guy? No, that was
Yeah.
Taos. He
Oh,
was
Towers, bro.
he was in the general chat asking for a league.
Okay. Yeah,
I
he's a
mean,
solid user.
yeah, he seems chill. He's active. Um, yeah.
And I mean, any you're in my league now, so I mean, if any spots open, you can probably find guys you would most like to fit in your league compared to me just bringing in any random guy.
I mean, really doesn't matter to me if it's someone that I don't know from Adam. Just if they can come in and they can follow rules and they're amicable to the rules. Um, you know, that's all I'm really looking for.
Which kind of rare these days, but
Yeah, it's been a slow decline over the last couple of years. It seems of reliable users. I guess it's split on platforms now. You had a new PlayStation and a new Xbox, so
oh yeah,
some people switch platforms and stuff, but
crossplay is helping.
I don't know. A lot of people just have been turned away from the game too. I think
Yeah,
a lot
college
of guys that
football.
were playing yeah, a lot of guys that were playing Madden heavy are just sick of it.
Yeah, they're just switching
There's
to either college football or just not playing any games at all, like
yeah,
any football games.
yeah, going and playing 2K or FIFA for the first time in a while and
Yep.
having fun with it because it's different.
Oh yeah.
Um, but no, we've had a good cycle. We've
It
had a
went
good
longer than I thought so
yeah.
far.
No,
Year 5.
we've had a great run. Hopefully, we can do one more. Take us to through the draft, and then
Which looks like you're in the playoffs as of now. Do you think you can maintain that?
yeah. I was looking at my schedule after my game earlier. I've got four left.
First,
Luis is
Jags, Luis, Realist, and Notsky, it looks like.
yeah. So those are all four winnable games. I mean,
Yeah.
I should win three out of four. If I want to consider myself, a contender at
Yeah.
all, I definitely need to win three out of four. But um, shit, if I beat Luis, which I haven't beat him in a while, frankly, but if I beat Luis, then I'm confident I'll bring it home. 11-6 would get me in for sure.
Oh, yeah. 10-7 might, depending on how, like,
Yeah,
Washington,
I don't know what all these guys'
LA do.
schedules are looking like. It's Marcus has the tiebreak over me. I
Oh, he
have it.
does.
Yeah, I have it over Washington.
Okay.
Scroll up a little bit. Who's behind? No, down. Sorry. Um, and then you've got Rams and Tampa. Okay. Well, Rams is you need Shane. I need Shane to come back and play the Rams this year.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, so he does that, then you might be in a good spot.
Yeah, no, that's just how it goes sometimes.
which I see you did not like
Yeah,
that safety I traded you.
did not like him.
You didn't. It seems like I think you traded him already.
No, I liked him, but I traded for um what's his face? I traded for Winfield and Shala
Okay.
wanted Fitzgerald. He kind of benched him. He doesn't even really play for him anymore. Fitzgerald. He's back up. He's got the traits and aggressive play ball. He's got everything you
Yeah.
want, but he's a little short. I mean, he's 5'10". He's not even that short, 5'10" or 5'11". But he's just
Yeah.
he's not making the plays that you want, I guess. These tall safeties, honestly, I think are the wave.
Oh yeah. Like McKinney, is he tall?
It's
He
probably
is. I
six
mean,
foot.
6 foot.
But yeah, I feel like a 6'3" safety with 88 speed
Oh
is
yeah.
better
Like
than
a
a 5'10" safety with 92 speed, honestly.
like a Kyle Hamilton, 89 speed. He's just insane.
Yeah, he's a freak. I'd like to trade for him if I could.
Price on that would probably be too much.
Oh yeah.
And then last question I got is first off, congrats, you're having a baby soon. So
Thank you. I'm having a baby soon. My wife is having a baby soon.
does that have any implications for YPL? Are you gonna do like a YPL baby shower and give away a bunch of devs or
Maybe I could. If everything goes according to plan, I've got another month that I can try to incorporate my blessings into YPL. Uh,
so yeah,
something to consider for sure.
is the league like in limbo in a month?
No, no, no.
No? You're still gonna be running it?
Yeah, no. I mean, I'll be able to play my game, my one game every 2 days, and uh, do what needs to be done. No problems there. Plus, like I said, if we can get through this season and then go one more, I think,
Oh, that's your goal?
yeah, for sure. I mean, shoot, if we were still going strong into a seventh season, we've done it before. That takes you into like June, basically. Um,
I think no, seventh season would be the record.
we've gone into the seventh before.
Although we haven't finished it.
No, that was the Drazy Bowl year. He won it in the year 6, and then we did a few weeks in year 7. I don't remember
Yeah.
exactly how long, but that like took us into like June.
Wow.
That was crazy. Yeah, good times.
Yeah,
So
if it's
no,
what?
we've had our best momentum and sustainability in like 2 or 3 Maddens at least. So
Oh yeah.
uh, year
Because
six years would be great.
last Madden seems like you just gave up. Uh, Madden 23 was the glitch year,
Yeah,
and then Madden 22 was like the last long Madden. It seemed like we did.
yeah. Last year's Madden, we lost too many guys that didn't want to play the game and were having trouble filling spots. What was that, year 4? So we went like 3.
Yeah,
So I mean, at a certain point when the writing's on the wall, you have to face the
yeah, you
music.
gotta accept it.
Last year was definitely one of those years. This year we haven't had that problem really yet at all. So
No, it seems like we might even get a 36-hour advance or
yeah,
40-hour
we
advance,
got one game going tomorrow, but we were close to a nice little 24-hour advance.
which yeah, it seems like Steady and Realist are sadly the ones to ruin it.
Yeah, no, but no,
Which
we're going good. We'll finish this season. Shout out Shala. He's done some good recruiting. Luis has brought in a lot of dudes this year. Um, who else has been? I guess honestly, Shala's been doing most of the
well,
recruiting.
he's
He's
brought
got
in
this
guys
little.
to stat pad against and then
He's
call
got
it a
this
game.
sham league going. No, that one dude, he wasn't even stat padding against him. Let's be real. I was giving him grief for I mean, he's up like a touchdown and throwing the ball. It's just you could have just, run it, taken your field goal, and there's like 30 seconds left and you're up
Or
10. So it's not
demanding
a stat pad
14
situation.
points.
It's just it's a borderline greedy, risky situation. And then I'm giving him grief for returning the kick to the house, but anybody's gonna do that. It's just if it were me, honestly, I'm just gonna fall down because there's no time left. I gotta go 100 something yards. Like it didn't look like he had an obvious lane. Like just me personally, no bullshit. I would have just once I got that pick, there's no time left, game's over. I would have just fallen down. I'm happy with the dub. But everybody wants their stats. It is what it is. It wasn't really a stat pad situation. And that dude he played was pretty cool, and then he left the league.
Oh yeah, that guy seemed chill, and then he just tweaked
He was
out
com-
or whatever.
he was complaining about the rules. I think
Yeah,
like the whole time, just that he like was having trouble keeping track of them. But he seemed pretty cool, and he was like he was head to head with Shaw, like that whole game really. So
yeah.
no,
So,
some dudes just aren't built for it, man. That's all there is to it.
so is there going to be like a set rule for how to recreate a game? Because it seems like there's been controversy about that.
There's not controversy. Shala just wants to fucking make it a controversy.
And I mean, some people they're like, "Hey, let me spot you 10, get those stats, and then we'll just play the rest of the game." Some people be like, "Let's keep track of the score in the chat, and then we'll set a force win." So like,
That's
coming from you,
that's
we need to hear like a straight what should be the standard.
the standard should be the second option you gave. The standard should be imaginary score, you know, finish the game. If it was a quarter and a half or 4 minutes or 5 minutes, finish the game with an imaginary score, set a force win. That should be the standard. If you, that's, we'll put it this way, and I can put this into writing, I suppose. If you lag out in the second half, finish the game, imaginary score, force win.
So play like a full
If
game
you
or play a first half.
no, you just finish the game, however much time. If you
Oh,
lag out
okay.
in the second half, in the third
Yeah.
quarter, or the fourth quarter, you just play how much time was left, imaginary score, force win. If you lag out in the first half, I'd say just play the game from scratch.
So
Um,
start fresh because I know some people if they're up like 21-0, they might feel some sort of way.
well, then either just take the force win entirely or play from scratch. There's no reason you play a full game and quote unquote spot points by giving the guy 3 touchdowns. That doesn't really make sense. If you wanted to do something reasonable like chew clock for a quarter and actually play, but like let the guy convert fourth down or something to where
Yeah.
you're like you know making up time. But to from a stats perspective for the league, to
Yeah,
just
that's where
spot
stats
someone
discrepancies would come.
to spot
Someone getting a
someone
6 touchdown game and then
yeah, no, that's crazy. It's just when you lag out, you just kind of have to let go of the stats, sadly.
which it seems like people have been lagging out a lot more this Madden. This has been
Yeah,
a terrible
especially
Madden in my
lately.
opinion.
This Jags dude is lagging out like 2, 3 times every week. I think some people are just kind of bugged.
Yeah, it seems like that Kyle situation he had where he had to
Yeah,
re-download the
Kyle.
game.
Yeah, Kyle was lagging out a lot. This Jags dude, I think the Bucks dude, the new Bucks guy, had some issues. So I think the servers are just ass this year.
Yeah.
But
So
speaking of, you had a bit of a precarious situation there in a lopsided affair
oh with the
with
stat
not much
patter.
with not much time left on the clock, where there was a mysterious loss of
which I was
connection.
not even near my system. So people to say I did it is just
So
straight up.
what's your explanation for the fine people of young phenom league?
Well, I first called a timeout because he, Shala, obviously had enough time to run the ball out. I'm assuming he streamed, so you can go watch his stream. So he had enough time to run it out. He was still running plays with 45 seconds left. So 1 second comes around. I'm like, you know what? I might try to bait this guy into a suspension. Didn't work. I called a timeout, and my buddy's here to pick me up to go drink.
And then what?
I just walk away from my system and get ready to leave. I don't look back.
And then what happened? Did you ever go back to your system?
I remote played it once I got in the car to turn it off,
Well, it is what it is.
which
That's your story, and you're sticking to it.
no, which I kind of wish I just didn't get kicked, so he would have gotten a suspension. Hopefully, you might have seen it different because I called that timeout with 1 second, but
Yeah, no, it's the 1 second timeout is never a good thing.
yeah, but
It
I don't
it only leads to heartbreak.
know. It definitely does, but I also think still passing with like 45 seconds left, and I'm not even calling timeouts is until 1 second.
No, that was pretty rude. It was a personal thing
So,
there.
which I mean, speaking of, I've got to call him out. He's been ducking me on the pod on his failed podcast for weeks now. I was
Weeks.
the I was the only one to get him as many views as he got, only one to get him over 50 views. And he blacklists me because he's just scared of what I would expose him for on the podcast.
Well, sounds
So
like your people need to talk to his people, and you'll need to make something
yeah,
happen.
maybe he'll probably have something to say about this. So maybe he'll get up from his cave and make an
Madden
appearance on
24,
mine.
Madden 24 Super Bowl podcast edition.
That would be fire, but he would first have to beat Kyle, which I don't think he would do.
Well, give him the force win, and then y'all battle it out on the
Yeah.
podcast. Live death chamber. Loser jumps off of a bridge.
Okay. You would just like to see that. He'll be jumping with both of us.
Loser jumps into a lake with a cannonball tied around their ankles.
I don't know what type of dreams you're having recently, but those
Well,
seem very those
let's
seem
make the
very
stakes high.
specific.
Whatever you can come up with to make the podcast a hit. People will
Well,
appreciate.
simply me being on his podcast is a hit.
Well, the numbers speak for themselves.
Dude, I'm the money show in YPL.
Some might say that. Some may disagree.
Only one person disagrees with that.
Well, he's got a loud voice.
Yeah, but I appreciate you coming on and answering some hard-hitting questions about potential collusion, clearing that up, or just admitting to it.
I'm happy to come on the pod and talk shop. Love talking YPL. It's a good group of guys. We have a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
fun. The 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 Madden is high level. The shit talk can be spicy. So
But that keeps it going.
It's good. It's good. It's good. It's a good community. We have fun. We'll put it that way.
Yeah. So do you plan on just doing YPL forever, or do you have a set retirement age you want
Oh,
to
I
be
don't
done
know.
with Madden?
It's hard to say. It's hard to say.
Or maybe you'll
I'm on
eventually
a
switch it to a
year to
show
year. I'm on a year to
year to
year
year.
contract. I'm on the
Oh
LeBron
no.
James 2 year contract,
No.
player option.
We'll see how next Madden goes and treats us.
Yeah. If next Madden has a lot of the same issues, it's harder to keep ponying up. But we'll see. Like I said, if we go through season 6, then we're just kind of rolling into college football. And then if we have,
That's true.
if we have a good college football league going, that'll be fun. So
Yeah, that'll be
football never
exciting.
sleeps, man. 24,
No,
24
not at all.
7. Boys are getting it.
Oh yeah.
All
All
right,
right,
Brad.
well,
It's been real.
appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, appreciate you having me.
Yep, have a good one, Mish.
Later.